second half, video done the same thing again. It just stopped. But we're not going to stop. We're just going to pick up where we left off at. So yeah, so where I left off at was knowing what you like, and knowing in order for someone else to learn you, you have to learn yourself. You have to know. And one way you can learn yourself is date yourself. And I want to say this. If you take yourself, I plan on doing that this weekend. I have a whole itinerary for myself this weekend. I'm dating myself this whole weekend. So, date yourself. And ladies, look. If you wouldn't take yourself to a 5-star restaurant while dating yourself, don't judge the brother that takes you to a 3-star restaurant. Y'all kill me with that. Some of y'all will run off a good man with ambition because he don't provide for you the way you can't provide for you. That doesn't make sense. Remember, 2 is always better than 1. So don't set such high expectations on our brothers that you yourself can't even do for yourself. So when you take yourself on a date, you should pick whatever you want on the menu, no matter what it costs, because you're treating yourself. You shouldn't put a limit on yourself when you're treating yourself. But if you can't do that for yourself, why would you put so much pressure on someone else to try to do for you what you can't even do for yourself? So let's try not to be so superficial when it comes to wanting to date a man that makes a certain type of money, live in a certain type of home. If he lives in an apartment, it has to be a condo or a high rise and all that. And girl, you on probably, and there's nothing wrong if you need government assistance or any of that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's something wrong with that. But you setting expectations on a man of where he lives, but then you're getting assistance. Let's stop putting such high expectations on our brothers and making things so difficult for our kings and making it harder for them, especially the good men that they have out there. We have a lot of good men out there that aren't making 6 figures. A lot of good men that aren't driving Mercedes Benzes and Bentleys and all that. You want to be picked up in a certain type of foreign vehicle, but you driving an American-made car. Make that make sense, sis? I mean, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. So let's stop putting these high expectations on our men to where they have to keep up an image that they can't even afford because you've put such high expectations on them that they know they can't reach. But because they love you, they want you, they'll do all these things knowing that they can't even maintain that. Let's not do that. 2 is better than 1. Get with someone that have ambition, someone that loves you, someone that's nurturing, someone that's kind, someone that will take care of you if you get sick. Not just there for you as long as you can provide. What happens when you can't provide? That's important. If I want to be with somebody that I know if I get sick, that person is going to be there to care for me. If we're hungry and we down to our last $20, I don't want to be with somebody that's going to say, I'll be right back. They're going to the store, but then they go and buy something to eat and they eat in the car before they get home. No, we about to sit down to the table with these $20 and figure out how we going to bust this down so we both can eat not only today, but possibly tomorrow too. So you just have to, when you find somebody that's a loving person with a pure, kind heart, and they know how to love, they want to love, they open to learning. They might have a few areas in their lives where that needs to be worked on, but everything else on the list checks off. Write down a list, all the negatives and the positives about that person. If you have more positives than negatives about that person, and you don't want to be with that person, you need to check yourself. Because you might have set the bar too high or expectations too high. You can't provide that for yourself. So let's try not to make things more difficult for our kings than they already are, just being a man and black, period, in America. So they shouldn't have to go out in the streets and deal with war, and then come home and deal with war. At home is where it should be peace.